A sight that's DC's rite of spring, cherry blossoms in bloom, and a business boom with it. But within the past week, things have looked more like a ghost town. Chinese tourists are now banned from the U.S., an effort to limit exposure to coronavirus.
I want to stress, the risk of infection for Americans remains low.
Tonight, a new look at the potential ripple effects. The research firm Tourism Economics projects a 4-year downturn of tourism from China, and D.C. could be among the city's hardest hit.
So more people from China visit D.C. than any other country overseas. And just how many people are we talking about there? Well, that would be more than 200,000 tourists, all visiting D.C. each and every year.
With a week since the White House issued the temporary travel ban, the full effects are hard to see. But one thing was clear, tour buses up and down the mall, nowhere to be found.
So how big a deal is it if none of these tourists ever make it to any of our landmarks, restaurants, and museums?
Well, that would be like if a third of the district's population decided to cancel their reservations, not show up for their tours, and essentially put their lives on hold.
In Northwest, Mike Valerio, WUSA 9.